Asia, in Europe, in UK, even in remote places like Africa. I see Kashish not just as a cinema, a medium of cinema. I see it as a voice, a very strong voice. I must tell you that Sagar and Sridhar are very sweet and very mild outside. Inside they are made of steel. They've stood up to the most incredible odds possible, where other people, lesser people, they have failed, have fallen down. They've just risen on the strengths of that and become stronger and stronger. I am here to support them. I am here to support Kashish. I am here to support every member of the gay community. And I think it's very important what I have said since I was in school. You don't have to be gay to be gay. It's a very important statement. I am very proud of every single one of you who are here today. I make new friends every day. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this advisory board. Thank you for making me part of all of you. Thank you for giving me lifelong friends. Thank you, Kashish.
Thank you so much, Vivek. We will have a few questions from the press for the advisory board. Anyone with any
If
questions?
it's about age, you can pass it on to the ladies.
Yes, please.
Just anyone can answer. Just since you all have been associated with the fest for so many years, any difference you're seeing in the kind of films being made? I understand it's a huge spectrum, but is it like touching some different topics, or do you see a change from the earlier years?
May I answer that? 2 sentences and then I'll give you. In the beginning, films were made as statements about being gay. They were not really films. They were not well made, maybe. They had very low budgets. They were brave films. But as the community has grown, as cinema has grown, today LGBTQAI films are stronger, technically far better. They have far bigger budgets. They have a far bigger audience than just gay people around the world. They have become an incredible part of mainstream cinema. Being gay now is not really an exception. You are not necessarily bold if you merely make a gay film or just merely make a statement, hey, I'm gay because okay, we've been hearing that for 15 years. Films have become more sensitive. They've become more script-driven. They've become harder. They're not just making statements. They're actually making points which mainstream audiences, non-gay audiences, are actually seeing, applauding and appreciating.
I would like to add, very honest and very confident.
Very honest and very confident, absolutely.
It's like also going beyond the issue, like getting into really characters and their expression and then what they are dealing with. Not like just a kind of a framework in which you're putting a story. And also, we get to hear now, every OTT booking needs at least a few or one or two, LGBTQ films. They tell us, as filmmakers, they tell us, look, we need something. And can you come up with something? Actually, every platform now wants to have at least one or two or more films.
Oh, we have another question? Yeah, please.
This is Pratham from Leadership. My question is related to money. What steps Kashish is taking to be able to make this viable relations? Because we see films like this one made by Karan Johar, though it was a mistake. He could bring the issue on the dining table. Then there was Ayushmann Khurrana doing films like Shubham Mehta. So going forward, how these films can become commercially viable on the global scale, vis-a-vis the OTT platform and the evolution of the scene.
At first, I think, I may be wrong here, LGBTQ films were not being made to make money or to make profit. They were being made as exposure to a community where I think the films were telling audiences, hey, see, this is the community, this is what the gay community is, this is what you should see. What Kashish has done very, very, very importantly is as time has evolved, as cinema has evolved, as filmmakers have evolved, as gay cinema has evolved, it has given it a very valuable platform. think it is at forums like Kashish where people, distributors, funders, financiers, heads of platforms, OTT platforms, TV channels are coming, watching and say, hey, I could pick that film up. Or hey, if this is the kind of cinema that is available, I could possibly fund the next film. So as other film festivals have evolved, like Toronto, like Cannes, where it's not just about films or about art, gradually there has evolved a market section, a section where funders come to fund films, where people come with scripts to get funding, where people come to buy films, where people come to sell films. At some point in its evolution, Kashish is also going to become a very, very important marketplace, an important place of commerce, a very, very important place where funders, distributors, exhibitors, heads of platforms are going to interact with the gay community of filmmakers, actors, those who have scripts, those who are looking for funding, and there will be matches which hopefully will be made in heaven. But I think it's a continuous process of evolution. Yes, Ravi and Aruna were completely right. Nowadays, if you look at any OTT show, there is always a game of character. In fact, it's almost mandatory, for some reason or the other. Some are very sensitively done, some are not so sensitively done, but it's become a part of mainstream. And when something becomes a part of mainstream, there will always be commerce. When something becomes part of mainstream, there will only not just be audiences, but there will be people who are willing to navigate the process of making money, but making it from filmmakers who make films like these. I think it's a very important thing to have a festival that exclusively showcases gay films, not just gay filmmakers or gay themes, but people who are not gay who are also making gay films, or people who are gay who are making. It's a process of evolution of cinema. I think at some point, as I said, there will be a marketplace at Kashish, there will be commerce happening, there will be people who will maybe through Kashish want to fund feature films, not because they are making a statement, but because they will be profitable, because there will be great cinema, because there will be great stories, and because the whole world will want to see those stories and will want to make this kind of cinema profitable. So not only will Kashish set up a platform for commerce, I think Kashish will also be able to, in due course, work with financiers, people with money, who would like to use their money to support a certain kind of cinema. So that's the way I see it going, and it's still very important for us to be able to do things like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will now request for a picture. Can we have all three advisory board to have a lovely picture? Sridhar, you can also be a part. Thank you so much. You're working on films such as Lagan and Monsoon Wedding, and went on to produce People like Delhi Belly, Dangal, and Secret Superstar, among others. Her first feature as director was Dhobi Garden, Mumbai Diaries, which was produced by Amir Khan Productions. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2010 and had a worldwide theatrical release in 2011. Lapata Ladies, Lost Ladies is the second feature. She is also a co-founder of Pani Foundation, a non-profit company that is working towards water security and sustainable and profitable agriculture in Maharashtra. Wow. Next, I would like to call upon Sonali Kulkarni. Is an award-winning actor, Namaskar, who has been working for over 2 decades in various languages such as Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, Marathi, and Italian films. She has bagged many national, regional, and international awards for her strong portrayals. Her filmography includes celebrated films like Mission Kashmir, Dil Chahta Hai, Taxi, 9-11, The Good Road, etc., etc., and web series like The School of Lies, Mumbai Diaries, Whistleblower, etc. She has a strong readership base through various newspapers, columns, and magazines. She has published a book titled So Cool, which is a compilation of her articles in the popular newspaper Indian Express Lok Sabha. A big round of applause.
I started my career, film career, with a non-gender character, and I was playing a tree. It was a film by Girish Karnad. It was called Cherubim. Trees don't have gender, nature doesn't have gender. Films have actually helped me grow. They have educated me about life, about society. A boy with mustache. So I feel all the more connected with Kashish movement. This year, along with Kiran and Varun, I was one of the jury. I did not have any expectation or imagination about what kind of experience I was going to have, because I don't choose to be a judge quite a few times. I personally feel that I was on the other side of the river for the longest time. I keep getting nominated for something or the other. It feels nice, koi award dete, koi nahi dete, but it is nice the way they watch the films. But here, when I accepted this responsibility, and I can't tell you how last few weeks have been for me. The films were so mature. The films had powerful storyline, excellent cinematography, production, casting, costumes, writers, most importantly. I had not expected that. I was in a way
Always felt very much an ally of this community. It's something that I've always felt very passionate about, the rights of the queer community, and especially when it comes to cinema, exploring so many issues, so many ideas of identity and gender and inclusion, expression, and just culturally to be able to see these filmmakers from all over the world explore queerness in their own communities, very, very layered, unusual stories in different forms. Actually, formally, lots of people have taken, very interesting routes and sort of been quite experimental. So actually, we saw a wide range of work, especially in the shorts category. We had almost 20 shorts to judge. And there was it was actually wonderful. It really felt like we were, it's interesting how also around the world you see how so many similar experiences are being had by people from the queer community. You feel how much actually as humanity we are connected. It doesn't really matter whether we are queer, not queer, from what part of the world we are, and how actually being human and having feelings, we respond to so much of the same kind of emotion, situations. So it was actually very moving. A lot of the films really got me, and some of them really moved me to tears. And it's a wonderful selection of films, and I highly recommend that everybody go out and support the festival by watching. I think we just become, it's a much richer sort of understanding that we get of people from the queer community. And like he said, now by making it, including all of us, by calling it the Kashish Pride Film Festival, it is our duty and our right to be part of this festival, whether we are queer or not. So thank you, Sridhar and team. I've had a lovely time being on the jury, and I can't wait for Mumbai and now hopefully the rest of the country to watch these films, and more power to all of you. I hope this festival is a huge success. Thank you.
Thank you very much so much. We can have maybe one question. Yeah.
Sonali and Kiran, since you have said that you have watched a range of films in this festival, what have you observed in terms of emotions of the community, perhaps you did not know before? And having seen the work, your palette has changed both as an artist, as a human being, as well as an actor.
I'm speaking for myself. Like I said, actually, what really impressed me, what the impression, a strong impression that I got was that we feel that in India things are very, very different, and you know, the situation in India is a particular way. The rest of the world, people don't have similar problems. But seeing films from everywhere, even so-called first world countries. We've seen films about the older gay community, older queer community, as Sagar was telling us. We've seen a big range, and genuinely, again, to repeat what I said earlier, what I really took away was how similar actually experiences that queer people have are around the world, and how you know, in many countries we are much slower to accept the fact culturally, because of religion, because of so many reasons, accept queer people for who they are. So, I mean, that's the impression I really got. I'm sorry, the second part of your question, I don't remember.
Has that changed you as a human being, as a maker, as a creative soul?
Watching these films, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I have always felt very much a part of the queer community from very early on. So I've been acutely sensitive to this experience for a long time, and because of that, I don't feel I've necessarily changed, but it gave me a lot of insight into, you know, what people face in different parts of the world. And really, we had films made by trans people who acted in the films themselves. So we had filmmaker, actors, leads. We had a very big range of films, so you really get an insight into so many different kinds of experience. It was a huge learning for me, honestly.
If I may add, when I started watching the films, I was somewhere ready for eccentricities. I felt that there is going to be melodrama, there is going to be theatricality in the presentation. But to my surprise, the films came across, the characters, the stories came across as a very mature telling. They had the queer personalities, their life. They have a lot of listening power. They are in a way ready to pass that path of humiliation, cross that path, and that was something which was so touching, that somebody being ready for the sacrifices or for the trauma. And there are many characters in many stories who are ready to go through those traumas, and there is a lot of forgiveness, and as a human being they rise above. I'm not trying to paint them saintly, but somewhere I feel that, oh, wish we all had that sensitivity and understanding of life. That definitely helped me watch more, know more, and somewhere I felt that it will be so nice if we all have something to write, something to show, something to portray about fellow human beings who are with us. We have only glorified poverty probably, or the color discrimination, and variety of things. But here is a important part of society which hasn't actually shouted out that loud in films, and they definitely need us as an audience. Sorry.
So that therefore, perhaps the emotions behind it could be universal. But being a gay in, say, California could be very different from being a gay in a pocket in Maharashtra. So in that sense, nuance, how do you see those nuances? How do you see those differences?
This is a larger topic. We can definitely chat about this. Definitely. But let us watch the films and post which we will meet over a chai.
Wow, thank you, Sonali. Every other picture, please. Thank you so much. She's in Mumbai in India. She has twice received the National Film Fare Award, sorry, not Film Fare, National Film Award for a feature-length documentaries, Cotton for My Shroud 2011, Candles in the Wind 2013, and I Cannot Give You My Forest 2014. She specializes in production of non-fiction content. Since the last 25 years, Kavita is also a co-founder of Top Quark.
Doing the cultural work, this activism that has been very much at ground level, starting from a place where queer people could come to spaces and say, oh, this is my story on screen, to a place where these are no longer counter-publics, these are actually spaces where we are normalizing what it means to be queer today. So my delight at watching these films actually, especially the ones that don't say, dekho, ye gay film hai. The beauty is that the gaze is slowly getting normalized. It's what we're all the same, we're all diverse, and it's a celebration of those diverse voices. So thank you again, the team at Kashish for inviting me, for making me be a part of this. And apart from, of course, doing the job of a jury member who judges or who decides who's going to be the winner, it has been a very big learning experience because we got exposed to conversations about gay rights in spaces like Brazil, we saw the history of what is happening with gay rights in Greece. Of course, we understand where the movement is in India, and of course, several other films from the US and parts of Europe, which we normally see also. So putting all of them in conversation and putting us in conversation with them has been a learning experience for me as an academic and a filmmaker, and I really thank this platform and this team for making it happen for me. Thank you so much.
It's always an eye-opener to watch these films. What I believe is 15 years. This is the 15th edition. Kashish is here because something needs to be said. Something needs to be heard. Something that is asking for our attention. There's something that's asking us to look into our hearts and actually ask ourselves, are we truly inclusive? Or are we just looking one way when we think and say and talk of inclusion in our society? I think this is one big question that Kashish answers for me as an Indian audience. And I'm really thankful for that. As a jury member, it was, as Shilpi said, it was educative, it was heartwarming, it was shocking, and it was reassuring. And somewhere it was a great lesson for me. It's not easy to judge. It's not good to judge perhaps as well, because each film tells its own story. But I was very surprised, by how creatively the documentaries are being done now. And how bravely. There were many first-person narratives. It's not easy to tell your story. It's always easy to tell somebody else's story. Because it's not ours. I don't want to get exposed. I don't want to be laughed at. I don't want to be judged. But well, there are many first-person narratives. So it's really very brave films. Here, as media today, just help Kashish reach out to people. They deserve it, and you've got to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavita and Shilpi. Maybe one question from the audience, yeah, please.
Bollywood always used the play of POV, but in the beginning it's a pure comedy story, like to make comedy make fun. When we talk about documentaries and narratives, it's more personal, it's more a way of